Well, hello, traders and investors. I'm L.A. Little. This is your daily NeoTA wrap, where we take a look at these markets and we go where most folks don't go. That is, we look at what's important, we look at supply and demand, and we look at it on the charts. I do this show 4 times a week, Monday through Thursday, broadcast at before 10 o'clock Eastern Time. It's archived on YouTube, and it's under the channel L.A. Little. And if you want to subscribe, just reach up right-hand corner, hit the subscribe button anytime you do that, and anytime I push content, you'll get a notifications. As far as these markets, it is a continued push to the upside. This is 3 days in a row off the big slide from last week. Today you get the NDX up another almost a point, right? Up 0.85. S&P up 0.5%. If we look here at the NASDAQ broad market, almost a little over 0.75%. Same thing on the Russell. Oil, silver, gold, they continue to pick up a strength there as well. Bonds were the only ones that sold off along with the dollar. And so, overseas, flat, mixed, whatever you want to call it. But here at home, same things, folks. These guys don't want to give it up. And what's pretty amazing is the inability or the unwillingness to give it up is as pervasive as it is. Let's take a look at the indexes here, see what they look like now. I'm doing this show today right at the market close. Looks like I probably have ending numbers at this point. But, if I don't have the volumes in, of course. But if you look at this, the volumes are going to be lighter again today. It's a straight shot back up. I've seen so many V reversals over the last, 7, 8 years now, 10 years. I don't even know what to think about them anymore other than the fact to expect them. So you get a V reversal coming off this bottom straight back up. The thing that it does today is it blows away the bearish retest regen. And that's the second one, right? You had one down here, you had another one there. Tells you just stronger than you think it is, and tells you that more than likely this thing is sideways at worst, right? Bullish again at best. We're going to see what it wants to do here now that it's come in to test the low of the high. That price point, 23.9605. This thing gets to 23.9546. So just a little bit more in the morning. We'll touch that, and then we'll see if it wants to reverse back down from there. The thing is that now you're going to set up the potential for 2 different trades. One is the downside trade, right, which is the bearish ABCD structure that could take you down into this area. The other is a bullish one, and that is if you get a little retrace here, then you can do a bullish retest, or not retest, a bullish projection to the upside ABCD structure, which would get you over the highs. What I suspect almost certainly is that we're going to get some sort of a little retrace, and then we'll see if it wants to try again to get to the upside. If it fails, right, then you can get something going to the downside, try to get that ABCD down. Maybe it comes in a little bit deeper, instead of just the top here. Maybe it comes down halfway, 3/4, right, then tries to get the ABCD structure of the upside, or gets a bounce and gets a nested ABCD structure of the downside. How it forms, I don't really know, and you don't either. What we do know so far, if we look at just volume at these critical points, you did more volume when you hit the bottoms. You did more volume in general than you were doing on the way up over here. And so all of that suggests that this is probably going to test again. How it gets back down, there's a different story. On the flip side, you're not getting the volume at the tops, right? We had volume over here. We had a test on this bar, and we couldn't get the volumes, right? They just weren't there. That means the buyers are not willing to pay up to get in. They're not that excited. Will something come along and make them excited? Well, that's what you're always watching for. If you get a breakout and volume expands, gives you a good idea that something really is going on. If you get a breakout and you pull back and you hold and then take off, well, that's fine too, right? That says they're willing to pay up. As long as they're willing to pay up. Right now, they're not. The only place they're willing to pay up is the technology sector, and that thing has been on fire. This huge run, for a good month and a half. big spike to the downside, right? And now as volume shrinks on the way back up, price just expands, gets over the top of the breakdown bar. At this point, you have to say, hey, is it going to test the top? It's coming into the lows of the highs. That's what I was just talking about on the SPP. That's the last test before new highs. And so that's the setup here. That's the setup on the S&P. That's the setup on the NASDAQ itself. The only one that doesn't have that setup is the one that's been lagging, and that's the Russell. Then that is because the Russell can't get even close yet back to its breakdown bar. And inside the larger range that the Russell's trading in, it's about halfway in the middle, right? So it's kind of no man's land. And the Russell, I don't know that it's telling us anything different than the other indexes are telling us, other than the fact that it just can't get going. If we look at the sectors, if I pull over to those, where's the strength in the sectors? We talked about, or I talked to members yesterday, about the fact that the SOX is the one that keeps knocking the socks off everybody. This one's going to test the top again. But if you look elsewhere, you don't have that, just a giddy, if you will, giddy type move. This is the XLF, back to the breakdown bar. If I look at, say, maybe the industrials are coming back up to try to get back to the swing point highs. They did get over the bearish retest regen today, so that was a important point. Technology, of course, has been the leader. That one gets to the top of the breakdown bar and is trying to get over it. The sector's looking a little bit weaker than the indexes, but all in all, they still don't look bad, folks. I mean, I can't find a lot to fault these things with, the IBB being one of the weakest ones. But if I go around the horn here and look at all of them, they don't look that bad. They're coming back up. They got bounces. The thing that you always look for after you get highs, such as, you got here, you got another high up here, is when you finally come off and you come back, do you make new highs or not? If you don't, if you get the failed bounce, that's when you can get something started the other way. Until you get that, until you get a failed bounce, it doesn't really matter, right? The market's still holding in there. Right now, nothing's changed. This market looks the same as it has, and that is that every dip gets bought. Even when it's a big dip like it was this time, it tends to get bought. And that's what you should expect with a very strong market until it doesn't. In other words, until you get a failed bounce and then you get trapped longs, then you start seeing what people really think. And what I mean by think is, what do they do with their money? Right now, it's all upside, So it goes down. Doesn't matter. It always comes back. That's the way the people think. When it doesn't, then that changes the picture. But so far, it hasn't had that failed bounce. Let's see what this one does as it tries to make it back to new highs. Get a failed bounce, and then you'll see something else take place. That's it for tonight. I don't have anything new to show you. I'm on the road. I've got a early show today, conference I'm heading to today and tomorrow. So I'll try to get a show in tomorrow as well. And then I will probably be back on more of a regular schedule. Take care. See you next time. Good night.